It's Tuesday and I'm back. I love this look. I did a fall type of look with fall colors. Reminds me of the leaves falling from the trees. And I have my tea, of course. I received this mug in one of the goodie bags at the TED event. And the greatest thing about this mug is it's all natural plastic. Apparently it's biodegradable of some sort. However, I like when I get these free mugs and such. So I'm happy to have this. And I'm reminded of a story as I was traveling to Germany to give my TED Talk. And for everyone in the chat, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. So naturally, whenever I'm on a flight, I'm always talking to the flight attendants. I do bring, what's up, Mag? I always bring candy for the flight attendants. If you want the blankets, the pillows, the extra drinks, the cookies, all of those goodies, bring candy for the flight attendants. Extra points if it's Swiss chocolate or Belgian chocolate. So I always bring a big bag of Belgian truffles or some sort of chocolate. During the holidays, and sometimes I still do carry $5 to $10 gift cards and pass them out to the crew because Starbucks is all over the world. And that's one thing a flight attendant always loves is a Starbucks card, even if it's $5, just because it can be used anywhere in the world. So it's helpful. And as I was on my flight from Frankfurt, I shared with the flight attendants, here's some chocolate. Thank you for your service. I know you guys work really hard, and I was one of you. So I'm still at heart a flight attendant. And one of the flight attendants, thank you for the likes, one of the flight attendants actually mentioned, so do you still fly? I said, no, I took the early out in 2020. I'm a speaker now, and I just came back from my first TED Talk. I'm on this flight because I just gave my TED Talk 4 days ago, and it was a full circle moment. Because that TED Talk and then speaking to the flight attendants and knowing I was on the flight talking to the flight attendants about the moment that brought me to this TED Talk, it was this full circle moment. And as I was in the back of this 777 Boeing 777, one of the flight attendants said, wow, you left. Do you regret it? And that's what I want to talk about. Because no, I don't regret leaving a career that I dedicated 15 years to and what gave me what I'm speaking about now. However, it's always the first question. What's up, Nick in Y1? Do you regret it? Do you miss it? Do you regret leaving? Do you ever... No, I don't regret it. It's not a decision that I made quickly, but it was a decision that was going to be made. And often when I get on the flight, almost every time I fly, and I speak to the flight attendants and I tell them, yes, I was a flight attendant and I left in 2020, the response is always, do you regret it? And what that means to me is, from that person, they don't trust themselves. Meaning they look back on decisions and say, I made the wrong decision. I shouldn't have made that decision. And I don't trust the decisions I have made, which is the complete opposite for myself in this moment. Now, every moment can change, but in this moment. Thank you for the follows. And I paused because I immediately, there were times where I immediately wanted to ask, why do you ask that? But my belief is most people don't expect great things for themselves. Meaning they don't really expect magnificent things to happen for them. Meaning they know this is as far as they can go. This is as much money as I'm going to make. This is the best career I have. This is the best relationship I have. And there's no chance of it ever being better than this. Therefore, I can't leave this. This is as good as it gets. I can't even think of something being better because that won't happen for me. Meaning, I actually don't believe that there's more within me. And I'm under the belief that there's always more within us. I'm the one that gets to say where the cap is, and there is no cap. There is no final amount that I can make. It's not as good as it gets. It gets better because I know it can. Because I can think that it will, therefore it will. And really, if I believe that it will, it does. But from that simple response of, do you regret it? At least from this individual, I don't think they believe that anything better will come for them. And they continued to tell me why. They said, well, first of all, you are a public speaker. Aren't you afraid? Now, come on. I just told you. I just gave a TED Talk. For me to be afraid to go after something that I told you I now do professionally, that gave more answers to the questions. However, people often tell you how they feel about themselves in everything they say. No, I'm not afraid to talk in front of anyone. The person replied, oh, I would hate to do that. I'm so afraid. I know, you already told me. The moment that you said you could never do it, which isn't true, none of this is true. There's nothing that you are not able to do unless you believe that you can't, which is true. Yes, and the hints are always there. The simple fact of I could never says enough. And then she went further. She said, well, I've been flying 30 years and, I don't know what else I could do. I don't know who would hire me. And I don't think I could do anything else. I said, well, of course you could. Of course you can. But if you don't believe that you can, you can't. Even just that simple thought of, I think I could, is the start of it. But the moment that you tell yourself, I could never, I would never have the opportunity, and I don't think there's anything else that I would want to do. Anyone in this chat, I'm sure there's 10 other things that you would love to do. That if you were compensated for it, it would be a dream. But most of the time, people will just stick to what they know because they've been there so long. Because really, they don't want to let people see them try to do something else. And I truly think that if you don't even allow yourself the ability to dream of something else, you really can't do anything else. So, whenever I hear, do you regret it? The questions start in my mind. No, I do not regret it. Exactly. I'm not limiting myself. And this comes back to with the TED Talk, when I started having these questions. Anyone who's new to my lives, I just completed my first TED Talk, and the speech was based around how my mind changed when I had an emergency landing. meaning I was on a flight, the left engine went out, and we had to make an emergency landing. And that changed the entire course of my life. Because, thank you, Michael, because if this experience called life is going to end, which it will, I told myself in that moment, I am going to dedicate every moment, every day to doing exactly what I want, how I want. My legacy, my dream, my goal, what's more of me. No. The religion is the last thing. I don't know if I can only speak of my experience. I did not think of any religious figure when that happened. No. And I still do not follow any Abrahamic religions, ever. I haven't. I was raised in a religious family. However, I do not adhere to any Abrahamic religion or any doctrine of that sort. With my travels, I believe enlightenment has been a part of it. However, being grateful and lucky enough to encounter countless cultures, people, languages, religious figures of every sort through the 60 plus and counting countries has led me to believe, I believe there is maybe something bigger than me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's labeled. However, I do believe whatever that is within us. What's up, Reiki? There's my girl at Sephora. I'm going to be coming in to see you. I hope are you there this week? Let me know if you're there this week because I need to come in and pick up some things. Reiki actually did my Perks Hydrofacial at Sephora. It's on my TikTok. I think it's like not the latest one, but the one before the latest, and it was fantastic. So thank you, Reiki. However, the ability to dream, the ability to know. Thank you, Michael. That's what I believe my gift is. Thank you. I love my hands too. They make life easy. A matter of fact, if your hands are ever injured or you have a broken finger, you will see how useful your hands are. Your hands are very useful. My belief is it's always within us. It's us. It's us. It's not a institution such as a school that gives you what you are. You're already it. Now, it may illuminate something that you have and allow you to steer it and direct it and hone it. However, there's nothing outside of you that gives you what you already are. And this is what my speech was about. It's you. It's you. It's us. There's something unique about each and every one of us. And it is my belief, and I always say this is my truth. It's not the truth. It's a truth. That each and every one of us has a uniqueness that is why we are here. And I believe it's maybe our life's journey to find that out, or actually to dig deeper into what that is. However, it's you. It's you. It's always been you. And maybe that's the secret that people want to take you away from. Yes, it's you. It's always been you. What's up, Sam? It's always been you. One of my sisters is in the chat, and she will maybe agree or not. I don't believe there's anything that I cannot do. Ever. This is why when I was speaking to those flight attendants who said, do you regret it? Absolutely not. There's more to me than my career of flying. There's more to me than my career when I did makeup. And I remember when I said, yeah, I'm going to leave, they said, well, then you don't get the free makeup and you don't do that. So what? I've achieved the mastery. I achieved what I needed to go on to what's next. But I'm not going to limit myself by staying in a place that I've outgrown, and I know I've outgrown it. Yes, I also mentioned, thank you, Michael. I also mentioned this in my speech. I thought what I was my career of flying. It wasn't. I hear this often with people who say, well, I'm this is all I can do. No, it's not. Now, when you say the word, you've planted a seed, because words are building our world, regardless if you believe it or not. I'm meticulous about what I say, down to what I think. This is why I meditate and I journal, just to stay clear, because I do believe there's power in words. However, I know when I've outgrown something. And I remember when I knew I had outgrown my career of being a flight attendant. And I had made a list of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and where I wanted to live and activities and running the New York City Marathon and doing this and doing that. And I had kind of checked all of them off. Yes, go teach. Yes, those that know teach. I remember telling my sister, you guys better get your trips in because I'm going to be leaving. This isn't for me. And you'll know when it's not for you because it will speak to you and you will become not your fullest self. You may not be as fulfilled, which will show in a lack of happiness, which will show in a lack of possibly optimism or curiosity. Thank you, Michael. So can I. I love listening to myself. And as I was speaking to a friend, she had said, Hope, I think that's the key to life, to stay curious. Yeah, Lester, you're right. Stay curious, stay open. Oh, melodic. Thank you, Michael. And I remember saying this as I was traveling with my niece when I did my TED Talk and we met in Germany and took the train to a smaller town in Germany. What I appreciate about traveling with her is she's open. She's open. She's 23. She's still open to the world. And it can be at times ostracizing for me, because I've been traveling professionally and with my family. I just took it to another level when I started flying at age 22. So I've always been open because I've constantly been changing my surroundings. For me, it's easy to just have a different perspective. I'm not rigid in my thinking, or I don't have roots so deep where I'm not open to another perspective, which can, to me, make life very difficult. When you're so rigid that the lack of just allowing a perspective seems difficult, it seems to make life a little bit difficult. Thank you, Michael. And I've traveled with other people, and I don't travel with a lot of people because, first of all, I just get up and go. I don't really plan. I just get up and go. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I expect great things to happen for me. I come from amazing humans that gave me the grace to be whatever I want to be. So I believe it. I don't believe bad things come to me. I believe there's lessons, but everything that I encounter, I can learn from. And that way I'm always flexible. I don't expect bad things to happen. And if something happens, what can I learn from this? What can I learn in this moment? How can I grow? What did this teach me? What can I take from this and put into something else? Yes, and learning languages, again, opens a whole new perspective. Learning a language for me allowed me to understand more about the culture. Because especially with French, there's so much that you learn about the people that's within the language. And that ability to not suffer, but endure that discomfort. Because for me, the lack of ability to communicate is suffocating for me. When I know what I want to say and what I want to express, but I just actually don't have the words. I have the knowledge in one tongue, but not in another. What's up, Detroit Sean? Good to see you. Yes. Well, I understand that. Lester, sure. I see how that could be helpful. I don't believe there's any judgment for me. However, I can see how that can be somewhat of a parable. And again, I'm not judging what's best for my life. I'm learning in life. There's a big difference, because a judgment means I have to compare it to something. When I'm learning, I'm open to what it may teach me, and I can allow it to exist. What's up, Carl? And in that way, I can consistently stay malleable. And fear doesn't have to be crippling. The only difference is I can feel fear, but it doesn't stop me from doing anything. Fear is there. In fact, now when I feel it, I know I got to go towards this, because fear is there to keep us safe. Fear is actually there to protect you in some way. However, I can question that. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? Because I've never done it. Okay, well, that makes sense. Does that need to prevent me from doing it? No. Okay, well, I can feel that and continue forward. It's always that continuance of, number one, checking in with myself. I will always say it's within me. It's nothing outside of me. There's so much that I can learn within just my inner workings, my inner dialogue, what I do know, what I don't know, what I'm allowing myself to grow into. Fear doesn't, Carl, but again, let me call you in and not call you out. That is your perception of fear. Nothing will consume me because I understand what fear is there for. So for it to consume me, to consume means to devour, to eat, to overtake. There is nothing that would overtake me, meaning keeping me from moving forward in this moment, to the best of my belief. Yes, it is. If you see a lion running towards you, that fear that you feel is rightfully so. It's fear of bodily harm. That's understandable. However, when I was learning a language and speaking French in France, that fear was the fear of judgment for what people will hear and how they may treat me. Okay, that makes sense. However, I got to learn. So I will just speak. Feel the fear and do it anyhow. Going back to that flight attendant, because I was a flight attendant for 15 years, who, when I told her I'm coming back from my TED Talk, I retired from flying, and she said, "Oh, do you regret leaving?" That sounds like your fear, not mine. Because I believe there's always a level of mastery. I've reached a level where there's nothing else here for me, which means I want to challenge myself to grow more. I'm choosing to challenge myself to grow into the next version of me. I may be afraid, but I'm afraid not to. Fear will never keep me from moving forward. Because if it does, I don't gain anything from that. There's nothing that you gain when fear keeps you in your present place. You only gain something when you are in constant forward movement. And I remind myself of that. Yes. And having a level of comfort, that makes sense. Comfort is to be expected. However, to be available, to be open to a short amount of time of discomfort, because discomfort, nothing is forever. Discomfort is for a short amount of time. With pleasure, Carl. And I will always call in, not out. It's calling you in as a friend with love. And I love words. I'm a wordsmith. So to consume, it was a great choice of words. However, if something consumes, it means it overtakes. It actually means if you're consuming something, it's done. The point is to keep moving forward. The point is to feel the fear and do it anyhow. The point is to question, why am I feeling this? Why do I feel this fear? Have that conversation. Most of the time, it's just because you've never done it. That's to be expected. If something is new, if it's something you've never done, it's to be expected that you feel those those feelings of how fear shows up for you. And changing it to where it can work in your favor. Wow, I feel fear. Oh, I'm excited about this. I also read how excitement and nervousness in the brain is actually the same thing. It's not until we label it nervousness or excitement that our brain goes to make that true. So if you say I'm nervous, okay, your brain is going to pull you towards the sweaty armpits and whatever is identified with nervousness compared to excitement. It's actually the same firing in the brain. And once I learned that, I always just say I'm excited. Even before I go on stage, I'm excited. I'm excited. It could be nervousness, but I choose to label it differently. Words have so much power. The words that you choose to speak into yourself, of yourself, into others, into your life experience make all of the difference. And it's the same as when the flight attendant said, do you regret it? No, you would regret it. You're actually telling me how you think of it. But me, no. Why would I regret a decision that, thank you, G Square, a decision that not only have I decided on, but I trust it. And I tell myself, I trust myself. I trust my decisions. I trust myself. Learn to trust yourself. Even telling yourself, I trust myself. Make a decision. I trust this decision. I'm under the belief that every decision is the right decision. It's something that I'll learn from it. There's something that I will learn from it. So I don't say I made a bad decision. No, this is what I learned from that decision. This is how this decision aided in my life. What's up, Thomas? Thank you for sending me the rose, Carl. Because it's that place of power. I will always speak of that. When I speak of it's me, it's us, it's staying in your place of power. I'm fantastic, thriving, and fulfilled in every way. While I was with my niece, we went to a Eritrean restaurant in Frankfurt, and English is a Germanic language, so many of the words that you see in German will look similar to English words. Kinder, child, Tomaten, tomato, apple saft, apple juice. Thank you, Thomas. There are several words, and I had told my niece, just observe, because you will start to see things that you recognize. And while we were at, thank you, Thomas, for the follow. While we were at this restaurant, the restaurant menu was completely in German. And my niece said, I can't understand it. I can't read it. It's nothing I can understand. I said, sure. Let me share something with you. That doesn't move you towards any direction. She said, what? I said, saying out loud, I don't know what this is, I can't understand any of this, doesn't actually do anything. Yes, it's an observation. However, that isn't a powerful statement. To stay in your power would mean to move to, I want to understand. And there's 3 ways. So this is how I speak to my niece, almost in parables. I said, there's 3 ways to get to that. Once you ask yourself, I want to understand, you have these 3 ways of understanding. First, you can speak to the server. Many people speak English. If they don't, you'll find out. But that's the first way. You can ask them, is there one in English? Or you can ask them to explain a dish, or you can just tell them what you would like. That's the first way to understand. The second way to understand is to see if there's words you can understand. Tomato, onion, certain words you can see and you may be able to piece together what you would like to order. The third way is to pull out your phone and take Google Translate, because from those 3 solutions, you can get to a place of understanding. However, simply saying, I can't read this, I don't understand, it doesn't move you anywhere. It doesn't actually do anything. It's an observation, but you got to get to a place to moving forward. Yeah. Well, that's a great space too. Me too. Figuring it out on your own, I actually applaud that. Now, since I have a lot of patience and I understand, and I will offer ways for you to figure it out. However, that's what life is. Figure it out. This is why I'm not afraid. Hope you got yourself in this. Figure it out. I got to figure this out. I got to make this work. I got to figure this out. And I applaud myself because I can figure anything out. I'm not fearful of figuring something out. Just figure it out. That's a place of power for myself. Wow, I figured that out. And now I can offer something. Same thing I had shared this story when I was with a sister of mine. And and I believe as an elder or someone with a patience and knowledge, that is our role. That is our role, that you have to pass on knowledge or pass on a system where someone can figure it out for themselves and have the confidence to figure it out. Because if you don't trust yourself to figure it out, you won't try. You won't even try because you don't believe that you can. There's that. As a great teacher instills a confidence that you can do it. I don't want to just give you the answers. I want to instill a trust and a confidence in yourself that you have what it takes to figure it out. And I was with my sister. We had gone to a concert, and we could not catch an Uber because I knew this, and this comes from knowledge and going to events. I knew that after an event, it's a wrap. It's difficult to catch any sort of ride service because you have tens of thousands of people trying to do the same thing. However, I said this is a teachable moment, and this person believes that they may have the knowledge, which I know they don't. So I'm also all for allowing a person to learn. So after we came out of the venue, we were not able to summon a ride from a ride service. So we started to walk, and I'm a runner. I'm very active. I love being outside. I can walk for miles. Doesn't take anything from me. In fact, I love it. And so we were walking, and I said, listen, it's late. Let's walk to a hotel and try to summons a Lyft or Uber from a hotel lobby. Because number one, safety. Safety. You're in a hotel lobby. You can always ask the front desk for something. And you have Wi-Fi, and you're just in a lit, safe area. So we walk into this hotel and try to get the car service. Now, the other person was the one trying to get the car. I was not. But because the AC was on so cold, I just went outside because I always move into solution. If it's cold in here, all I have to do is walk outside. So I told this person, hey, I'm going outside. I didn't say I'm going outside because it's too cold in here. I said, I'm going outside. I take care of myself. I don't have to answer to anyone. Went outside and came back in, and the person looked upset. I said, what's the problem? I'm cold. Okay. That observation, again, what's the next step? There's always a step after. Because if you stop at I'm cold without saying what would I like to feel? Not cold. Okay, do I have a sweater? Do I need to get a hot drink? Can I walk outside? That was never the next step. The person stayed on the observation of I'm cold. So they're upset in the lobby while I'm outside because I was cold, but I just moved forward into how do I get the warmth that I want? But you see that subtle difference? The observation is the temperature of my body is not comfortable for me. Sure. If you stop at that step, you don't get anything. You just stay cold, which is what happened to this other person who appeared to be uncomfortable and upset. I said, well, in my thought, well, wait outside. I mean, if it's cold in here, just saying I'm cold doesn't move you to a solution. It can, but if you just stay there, it doesn't move you into something that actually rectifies the problem that you have. Furthermore, the same person said, and Uber, I can't find a ride. It's been searching for an hour. I said, well, now again, in my mind, because I've been traveling on my own, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. I knew I'm in a hotel. The front desk always has the number for a cab. But until the other person moved forward with telling me, or thinking, what else can I do because I can't get an Uber or a Lyft, I'm going to have to ask someone. The person did not seek knowledge that they did not have. So it kept them in this space of discomfort. And sometimes that's what happens to us in life. At times, these things need to happen so you understand maybe you just need to seek outside for some knowledge. Maybe you need to be so uncomfortable that you make something happen, that you bring the solution, that you say, I've been cold for way too long. I'm going to make sure I'm never cold like this again. But move forward to a solution. Move forward into something that brings you exactly what you are looking for. If you stay in that space of just that observation of what you don't want, what you do want never just comes. It won't just come to you. You may have to seek outside for knowledge outside of yourself, which happened to be me. I would have told you, girl, well, then you should have told me this 90 minutes. It's okay. I'm not even going to say that. I said, look, I'll go to the front desk. I went to the front desk. Within 10 minutes, we had a cab. And I shared this story to say, at times, we just put ourselves into these spaces and we don't move because we may not have the knowledge and we may not even ask, what do I need to get me out of this? What do I need to get me away from this? What would make me feel better? Not even how did I get into this, because you can look at that after you're out of it. If I'm solution-based, what do I want? If I'm cold, I want a better temperature. Okay, I can walk outside, I can get a heater, I can do all of these things. However, I have to move past that space of just I'm cold. I have to move past of I don't have any money. I have to move past that space of I hate this job. I have to move past that space of I don't like where I'm living. I have to move past that space of I don't like the condition that my body is in. I have to move past that space of this relationship isn't working out. All of those things are true. So what? What are you going to do about it? Because just simply saying out loud the observation of where you are is not the solution. That's not the solution. And I almost saw this in real time during that time with the Uber and being cold, because it was a very simple solution, but there was so much focus on the observation that moving towards what do I want to feel, what's next, how can I have a solution, that wasn't even thought of. And how often do we do that in life? Because it's easy to mention the observation of where you are, but the solution is always right after. The solution is right after. And I mention that because even with my niece, with the restaurant menu and her not being able to read it, sure. But you're full of power. You're powerful. That doesn't keep you in your power. Thank you for the follow, McCreek and Freeman. I'm only going to speak words of power to myself and others. I'm only going to ensure that I am in my most powerful position, even if I don't fully believe it. Identifying with anything that doesn't bring me to that power, to me, does not bring the magic of what we can be. And when my when my TED Talk is posted sometime this week, that is what the speech is about. And what I learned simply in that being of such a life-changing event, possibly seeing the end of this experience and understanding I have the power to change it. I do. Even from my imagination. If I can imagine it, then why can't it be in this present place? That's for me. And having an instance or an ordeal, especially on the plane, where the captain says we have to make an emergency landing, it made everything seem like anything that you would be worried about, you cease to worry about. And as optimistic as I am, it allowed me to say, whoa, what do I want? Not how do I get there? What do I want? And why am I preventing myself from getting it? Maybe it's a fear of being seen. Maybe it's a feeling of lack of worthiness. Maybe it's not feeling in my power. However, not anymore. If this experience can change like that, I'm going to make sure I am living the exact life I want. It's my belief that I can have anything. There's nothing that's out of reach. And simply because I believe it, I know it can happen. I don't subscribe to that thought of, well, that's unrealistic. So what? Why be realistic? Why be realistic? If I was realistic, I don't know if I would have accomplished the things that I have simply from saying, I know I can do this. I don't know how. I don't know when, but I know I will. And repeating that and cutting out anything that didn't align with that. If you don't believe I can, that's okay. Most people don't believe in themselves. So I'm not upset, and that's okay, but it has nothing to do with me. Your belief of what I can do in life has nothing to do with me. In fact, it's a direct reflection of how you see yourself. And I have compassion for that. I do. This is why I speak to motivate and inspire. I do believe we all have something special. I believe everyone does. And through life, these things take us away from our power. Sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's broken systems, sometimes it's an accomplishment that we didn't accomplish, but it was rerouting us to something greater. However, I do believe it's within us. Great question, G Square. On my YouTube, which is Hope is Speaking, all of my lives, which are like this and longer, and some of my keynotes from earlier, from last year as well as the year before, are on my YouTube, which is Hope is Speaking. And there will be more things. I don't announce anything until it's set in stone. However, there will be more, thank you, G Square, coming in the next 90 days. And I said that because I was speaking to a great friend of mine who lives right outside of New Delhi. And there are many celebrations going on. October has a lot of holidays throughout India. And we were speaking because she helps with some things of mine. And I said, I do things in 90-day increments. My dad would always speak in 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 180-day. He would speak of these things. So I speak of things usually in 90-day increments, 3 months. And I was telling her, which I had named this live, about our clarity, getting clear on what you want. Because yes, I'm a speaker. Thank you, Dark Lord. However, my mission is just to give confidence that you can speak. If that's through hearing an inspiring talk or teaching you to have that confidence in oneself that comes out in your voice, that is actually my mission. Because speaking is everything. It's how we speak to ourselves. It's how we speak to our partners. It's how we speak to our colleagues. It's how we speak to the world. And when you have that confidence within yourself, it shows up in how you speak. Not just presenting with a job or wanting to be on stage. No. When you have that confidence, when you speak, it changes everything. And actually knowing, my father would say this, nothing's personal. Exactly. Through your speaking. And if you can command 10 people, you can command 10,000. This same person was saying, Hope, I need help because I'm presenting and I've only presented to 20 people and it's 100 people. And I said, but it's the same thing. The only difference is the number of bodies that are in the room. However, what you're doing is the exact same thing. Maybe it's excitement. Maybe it's not nervousness. Could be excitement and it could be nervousness. However, once you do that 100, 1,000 is next, and then 10,000 is next. And seeing that and knowing it's reality And knowing G square, I'm all for it. Command a room through your speaking, which is your presence, which is your confidence, which is whatever is you. I asked my father, because he really taught me how to speak with confidence, me and all my sisters, how did you teach us to do this? He said, well, it comes from believing in you. If you believe in something, it comes through in how you share. If you don't, people can see that. I believe in what I'm saying, and I only speak on what I've gone through or what I am going through. Thank you. I hope it does seep through everyone, because showing up with confidence is a beautiful blessing, trait, magic, whatever you call it. You see the people who are excited and they have confidence and they believe in whatever they're saying, and you know the others. And my father would say, when you believe in what you're talking about, it translates. On the contrary, the opposite doesn't. If you had that teacher that you just dreaded going to their class because, boy, were they boring and you weren't interested in the subject and they just went on, compared to that teacher where you may not even have liked the material you were studying, but their delivery and their passion and just what they were allowed you to say, I want to just listen. I want to be there. I just love going to this class. There's a difference. But that's also within your interpersonal relationships. That's also in how you speak to yourself. My belief is how we speak to others is how we speak to ourselves. I'm very patient with myself, and I will share with you, be patient. It may take you 10,000 times to learn something. So what? What's the rush? What's the rush? When you learn it is when you learn it. And grant that to others. I have not birthed any children. However, I know, because most of y'all adults don't get something on the first take. How can you expect a child to immediately latch on? No, it's going to be 20 years of repeating yourself. Same thing with dog training, because I have dogs now. I don't get upset. I'm going to have to repeat, and I'm extremely intelligent, and it may take me time. How dare I say they don't get it? Of course they won't. You don't. You don't even get it. How are you expecting someone who is a third your age to acquire that knowledge? It's going to be repetition. Thank you, Dark Lord. Same thing with forgiveness, and I'll often speak on this. If you cannot forgive others, look at how you forgive yourself. If you can forgive yourself for when you showed up not with the knowledge that you know, you got to be able to forgive yourself. Maybe you didn't pay someone back. Maybe you treated someone in a way that you wouldn't do that now. That's okay. You can forgive yourself, move forward, and show up differently. However, grant that forgiveness to others. And forgiveness doesn't, well, let me say this. For me, forgiveness does not mean I forgive you and let's make s'mores and drink tea. No, it just doesn't, you don't occupy a space in my mind. I can forgive you. You won't bump into me. I can assure you. I can assure you I won't be in the spaces that you are, Dark Lord. I can assure you. For me, forgiveness can mean I do forgive you, and you just aren't a part of any part of my being anymore. I don't dislike you. I don't will negative things towards you. It's like you just don't exist. You're not able to access the beautiful energy that I am, And I'm not sending you any energy in any way. And that could be a family member or a friend. It's just null and void. Listen, there's so much that we carry, and let me not say we, I will speak for myself. At times, Mag, who's one of the moderators, knows, I will easily leave things, leave people, leave clothes, leave homes. I have adjusted very quickly to shedding. It's a part of life. The easier I can detach from a person, place, or thing, the easier it is for me just to be light. And during my time as a flight attendant, I have been notified one time where, thank you, Robert. Me too. I think I'm going to keep it this length. When I moved to London, I was notified maybe 10 to 14 days prior, exactly, that I was transferring to London. It wasn't, oh my gosh, I need more time. Okay, I have to move to London in 2 weeks. Okay, I have to move, I'm moving to Hawaii and I've been living in New York. I can easily let things go. Anything. And that ability to say, I loved this and it will still always exist within my being and my thoughts, and I can let it go. It makes for myself, my life a lot easier just to maneuver. Because that resistance where I just have to hold on, nah, baby, you got to go. You got to go. And I would tell, because yes, it works for people too. I have me and I love me and I'm okay with that. Even I have a wonderful set of parents who I love dearly, and they know I will move all the way across the world and we can talk on FaceTime. It does not, proximity to a person does not create any discomfort for me for what I want to do in life. I am very ambitious, and this is just a part of it. This is a part of it. With people too. Sometimes you outgrow people and sometimes you don't. But in my time of travels, all of my friends are all around the world. So it's never been a thing of, I have to stay in this space because all my family is here, all my friends are here. That's okay. They can call me, we can message, we can FaceTime. However, there's great things that I am accomplishing in life. And those people wish me well, and maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. However, I got to do this. And I started doing that with clothing because I've always loved vintage clothes. Everywhere I travel to, I go thrift shopping, vintage stores, flea markets. There was a time where I was selling vintage clothes and styling, and I've loved style. Not necessarily fashion, because that's a business, but I love style. And when I was living on the East Coast, I had like 6 closets. I just had a closet for full-length coats. Then I had a closet for blazers and jackets. And I've had a lot of clothes. But that ease of, yeah, I can let this go. It's okay, I can let it go. And I remember when I was moving to Hawaii, I said out loud, I found it once, I'll find it again. I found it once, I'll find it again. There's nothing that has such a hold of me, aside from like family members. Now that will be difficult when they transition. However, that's why I savor the time we have now. Outside of that, I can let anything go. And you can ask any man who's been in my life. I will let you go. I will let you go. Thank you. Okay. And I jokingly have said this many times, I am my favorite. I am my favorite. I love me. I respect me. I like me. I'm okay with me. And because of that, I'll always be okay. I'll always be okay. Now, I can say that now very easily. However, there are those that I do think very highly of, and it's not too easy just to say goodbye, but sometimes these things have to happen. However, this is for me. I will always say this is my truth. It's not the truth. It's a truth. And within this, I am always not even competing, but building upon everything else that I've done. When I say I'm not really looking outwards as far as a competition. Now, I may look at other people for how they did things, for a guide of how to do it, but my competition is me. And seeing, where was I last year? Where was I the year before? Wow, I am making so much progress, because progress is incremental. It's daily. It's daily. And I shared this with my niece. It's always happening. Change is always happening. You don't see it. Oftentimes, you may not see it in your lifetime. Maybe your children or grandchildren or nephews or nieces will see the changes you were working through, but it is happening in small daily increments. Same thing with us. When I dedicated myself to speaking, I said I have to speak every day. I can't say I want to be a professional speaker and do it like once every 3 months. No, this is it. There is no side gig. I will make this work. I trust myself. I believe in myself. I will sharpen my tools. And no one else has to understand. That's the dedication. And the dedication to understanding yourself will silence the outside. People may not understand you. That's a part of it. Be okay with that. Be okay with people not understanding you. That's okay. Well, I need to tell them. You don't need to listen. Whatever you tell them goes in. It doesn't even go in their ear, because they're already formulating what they're going to tell you back. So what? So what? It doesn't even upset me. Well, I don't like what you're doing. Okay, sure. Okay. I like what I'm doing. I like me. So whatever you say doesn't do anything. I can look at everything I've done and say, Hope, I'm proud of you. And when I share about it's you, that's what I'm talking about. Getting to the point of being so in tuned, in line, aligned, aware of yourself, that the outside is just noise. It's just noise. I had shared years ago, because it's been close to 20 years that I was with the airline, or I started flying in 2006. And I remember sharing with a good friend of mine, I got hired by the airline. I'm so excited. And the person said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. You don't get paid much. And I said, oh, okay, well, that would make sense. I'm your best friend. You just had a child. Now I'm going to be traveling the world and you are going to be here. Everything you're saying makes sense, because you got to stay. Those words didn't affect me. And it was never really about the money. Money loves me, and it will come. And I know how to access it, and I know how to manipulate it. And my father was in finance, so that's there. But what I learned from just traveling living abroad, learning a language, all of these things is far more valuable than something that can be bought with money. For 20 years traveling, close to 20 years, living abroad for close to 10 of those years, that's what I was in it for the expansion of mind, for the breaking of some of the things that I believed, and the growth that happened, because not only am I away, my belief is growth comes from, yes, belief barriers. Growth comes from, for me, my truth is, growth comes from being somewhere foreign, meaning being away from your hometown and really away from anyone that knew you. Thank you, A Hearts, because those two things will keep you within that comfort zone. Meaning people could say, oh, I saw when A Hearts was in high school, and I saw when she was in this profession, and I saw when G Square was doing this, and who do they think they are now? So what? Now that I'm away from that, I'm free to just be whatever I want to be in this moment. And what that means. And what that means. Because that growth or lack of growth, when someone says, why are you being this person? Well, why not? You can choose to show up however you want. And the confidence to do so sometimes takes just being away from anyone who may have knew you when. So when I had first moved to London, that was that time. Even me moving out of my home state. But it would take that discomfort of being in a completely new environment, in a completely new space, where everything that you think you believe and know has to be challenged. That's where that growth is. Thank you for liking the live. So when I share about gaining clarity on what you want, thank you for the follow, Rachel. It really comes down to what, aside from all of the fluff, what is it for you? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to leave? What do you want to create? What is in you that has been wanting to show itself, but you just keep saying no? Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. That's very kind. Even with my hair, let's talk about that. That was like a rebirth. Shaving off all my hair, like, yes, this is new. I am new. And when I visualized myself speaking on stage, I always saw myself with short hair, because I naturally have very thick, curly, coarse, kinky, beautiful hair. I don't know the color. I kind of just blended a bunch of things because I lived with a stylist. Thank you. And she taught me the color wheel and how to bleach and tone and color and do all of that. So this is some sort of ash, blonde, golden something. I mix a bunch of colors. I have to lift it because my hair is naturally very dark, and then I color it. However, I like the grown out look. I like my dark roots. Of course, JD, go ahead. I will do my best to fulfill an answer. But I loved the act of shaving off my hair because it was so freeing. I felt so light. Thank you. I felt so new. And there was an element of, whoa, but it just was empowering. And there's many cultures where cutting your hair, especially women, it was a sign of like enlightenment or wisdom. And I said, well, maybe this is it. And there's the ease, because living in Hawaii, I'm always outside or swimming in the ocean, and sand in my hair, I just got off of it. Well, let me call you in and not call you out. There, to me, and this is my response, to me, nothing is bad. There's something for me to learn. So if something is cyclical, there may be a lesson that hasn't been learned. And once it is learned, the cycle ends. So assess what the cycle is and how you can learn from it. Because there's always something to learn. And I will say it's always in a powerful space to say, whoa, wait a minute, why am I repeating that? I'm repeating the same thing. What have I not learned? What do I need to learn in this moment? Because I'm not learning something if I'm repeating the exact same thing. And when I say that, that means to truly step into your power without saying, well, if they wouldn't have, or if they, no. This is about us. This is about me. This is about I. Because the cycle is like a wheel. There's something that has to be learned to get off the wheel, or to learn to say, oh, that's why. And then you move on to a different gear, like on a bike. That is the best. That I think that would aid in clarity. Tell me, how does that help? Unless you want to go more in depth. And I ask myself that too, like, what am I not learning? Because I'm just constantly in this space. What have I not learned? What would I need to learn to shift? And how can I do that? Because again, that keeps me in a space of power. That stops me from saying it's them, it's that, it's outside of me. No. I got to put this on me. What do I need to learn in this day? How can I aid in this day? How can I grow in this day? Well, thank you. Okay, nothing is habit. Okay, so you already know here's the other thing. Often we know it's yes. Habits can be learned. They can also be broken. It's also a reframing of everything. When you see it as, I just need to do this, no. Change everything. If it's something where you are constantly, and this is arbitrary things that I'm throwing out, if you're constantly drinking, I don't know, sodas, or take that away. Actually, now I'm not drinking any soda. I'm only drinking water and celery juice. I don't know. But it could also be health. There's so many things. But you already saying, I think it's a lack of discipline. Discipline's always it. It's always just discipline. Discipline can be the habit. So this is where that space of stepping into your power and saying, now the habit is discipline, instead of saying the habit is the opposite. My habit now is discipline. That is my personality. That is what's happening. And that's it. I actually don't want to continue this. What would it look like to be the opposite? Visualize that. What would the opposite look like? What is the exact opposite? Is it that I want to see? And work backwards. If the habit is the lack of discipline, now make the habit having discipline, no matter what it takes. And the beauty of what comes from it is when you build that habit and you constantly fulfill it, you begin to trust yourself. When you don't trust yourself, you don't even believe you can do it. And it starts with small incremental habits. So if it's something of being active, okay, starting today, I'm going to walk 10 minutes a day. Start in small incremental habits, but make it happen. Make it happen. If you fall off, okay, that's okay, but start again. But make it happen. The habit can just be, I went from not fulfilling my promises to myself to fulfilling all of my promises to myself. And now that I know I can, what else can I do? What else can I change in my life? How else can I see myself? How fulfilling would that feel? Feel what it would feel like to be that person that you want to be. Visualize it. Put it on a Pinterest board. Actually feel it. Embody it. Because the opposite is just your current state. You know what that feels like, but how invigorating would it feel to be the opposite? And for it to be consistent. And for you to know that you can trust yourself to do it. Because it comes down to trusting yourself. A habit can be made in 21 days. Those first 3 weeks may be the most difficult, but so what? So what? It's going to take everything in you to stop being everything that you are now. And that's just it. Be that powerful, strong being that is you. It's always been you. It may have taken all these cycles for you to decide, you know what? Yeah, this time I'm making it happen. That's just it. I will do what it takes. And I can't wait for it to happen. It is happening. Talk to yourself like it's there. It's happening. It feels great. I do trust myself. I believe in myself. I did it one day. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it the day after. Speak those words of life and power into yourself instead of the opposite. Stop speaking words of weakness into yourself and telling yourself you always do this. You can never do it. That's done. That inner dialogue and how you speak to yourself has to change or nothing changes. Nothing changes. And it has to actually be that strict, where you only say great things to yourself. Because I can guess that at this point you aren't. And say great things to yourself. You're worthy of it. You deserve it. It's for you. What's up, cool Aaron? It's always been you. However, this time, make it you. Make it you. And I believe in you. Start with writing words like, I can break this cycle. I have, yes, modeled. Yes, speaking life, love, abundance. I do love my body. My body has got me to this day. Look how healthy and strong and resilient my body is. I have everything I need. I have everything it takes. I'm making it work. What's up, Maureen? Good to see you. Thank you for the sunflowers. I have made it happen. Not I will, I have. Speak of it as it's already done. And really convince yourself and just start seeing the little changes that happen. Or at least this is what I do. Let me know if that helps in any way. And I always say, just start drinking more water. Water helps with everything. Water and a walk. Start with 10 minutes once a week. Start with the smallest increments so you can build up that confidence and trusting yourself. Because a lot of it comes down to the trust or lack of trust from within yourself. You're welcome. Of course, sparkling water is the best. I love sparkling water. Sparkling water with some lemon juice, sparkling water with apple juice, but anything that has less caloric intake. Because a lot of things we drink may just be drinking empty calories. However, I also believe in Yes, the universe is always listening, always. I always believe in stop looking at food and whatever you put in your body as bad or good. I'm drinking tea because I love tea and it fortifies me. I'm eating this vegetable because it's aiding to my body. Stop seeing these things as detrimental and start giving your body the nutrition it needs. Ask yourself, what does it need? There's certain things that will never come out of my mouth. Thank you, Idris. I've seen you in a few of my lives. I appreciate you. Yeah, everything that I ingest and say is intentional and purposeful. I am not saying anything that I don't want to manifest in my life, including conversations. And I had shared, there was a friend of mine who was talking about some nonsense. And I said, okay, I'm going to stop you there because this doesn't happen for me. And I don't speak about anything that I don't want to manifest in my life. He said, what? I said, yeah, I don't deal with this. And I don't care for this to ever manifest in my life. So let's talk about the weather or what topping you want for your pizza, but we aren't going to be talking about that. And it's not even that you have to be. Now that you're aware, it's automatically will start happening. Because awareness is the third step. There was a point where you weren't even aware. It takes certain steps to get to that awareness. And then once you're aware, oh, you'll start saying, whoa, I said that. Wait a minute. Cancel that. Cancel that. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. What I listen to, what I eat, all of that is intentional. And there's a lot that I don't do. There's very little that I can do because I have to stay in my space of power. From what I eat, from what I listen to what I watch. There's certain things I'm not going to watch. Exactly. Cool, Aaron. I love that. And furthermore, that awareness changes everything. That awareness changes everything. And be aware that awareness will change everything. It may change the people that you're around. It may change what you do. It may change what you listen to. It's all a part of it. But to me, it's all leading us back to ourselves. There's no good or bad. It's always leading us back to ourselves. Sometimes these things transpire for us to get back to ourselves. Sure, I can understand that, Hungry Ghost. For myself, no, because I am my entertainment. Entertainment doesn't entertain me. For me, I'm often reading a book or I'll just go outside, but entertainment is aimless to me and may plant seeds that aren't helpful for me. So what am I trying to zone out from? If I want to entertain myself, I will cook. It often doesn't come from something visual. However, that comes with every individual. We find what works for us. So there's that too. I've gotten back into my makeup artistry, and that's entertaining for me, as well as planning out. I'm already planning out the rest of the year for next year, which is beautiful and somewhat surprising because it's almost that future telling. And there's already things, what's up, Freddie, that are on the calendar for next year where I said, let me just go ahead and map out this year and probably start to map out the year after. And what that means. I said, wow, that's where I'm at in life now. And it's all a cycle. There's times where that's a part of it and there's times when it isn't. However, I feel really good about what is coming and the development and just that feeling proud of yourself. It really changes an outlook. Just thank you, Freddie, for liking the live. Feeling proud of yourself, of your development, of your advancement, of what you've learned, of who you've let go of what you've let go of what you've grown into, of what you aspire for. Just sitting and feeling proud with yourself. I think that opens a beautiful space of gratitude for oneself. And acknowledging what you have accomplished, how far you've come, what you've survived, what you've grown from, all of that. Just sit with that instead of saying, I don't do anything. No, you've accomplished a lot. You've survived a lot. You've grown through a lot. You've taught people. You've let go of. There's all of these cycles that we go through. And I think acknowledging our own life cycles is a beautiful act of compassion for ourselves. Because to acknowledge yourself is really to acknowledge maybe the creator that is you. And I think that's beautiful. There are beautiful developments along with hope and my voice that I will be announcing shortly. And see yourself as that celebrity. That's something that I speak on often. But see yourself, as much attention as you give your favorite singer or actor or celebrity, start turning that into you. Because you're actually the hero of your story. When I say it's nothing outside of us, I truly believe it's within us. Thank you. Thank you. Is it Kennedy? Kennedell? Thank you. You are that hero, that celebrity, that whatever it is. Put that attention into you. Put that attention into you. You deserve it. Whether you are a parent or a great uncle or aunt or cousin, start acknowledging your wins. And start seeing losses as lessons. There's not really a loss. There's something that was gained. And in that, there's that beauty. What's up, Raph? There's the beauty in that. Grow from that. Allow that to be your guiding light. And as I said, if it's planning out, since I'm planning out the whole year of 2024, imagine what that would look like. Imagine your wins. Imagine what you want and just start writing it on a calendar for 2024. Just start seeing that. Because I remember when I was in LA with Rafael Diaz and DJ Neil, and Neil was saying, and this is from my TikTok agency, PMW Live. We live live. You should definitely go to the PMW Live TikTok page and find out more, because this is why I'm always on here speaking, although I love to speak. However, DJ Neil was saying this is fourth quarter. And we always go hard in fourth quarter. This is going to be a great fourth quarter. The year's not done. There's so much time to win. There's so much time left for these wins where you can surprise yourself like, whoa, I came out the gate. No one saw those wins happening. There's a lot of time for that for these last, 10 weeks of the year. It can just be within yourself. It could be the drinking more water or walking more or forgiving yourself or forgiving, whatever it is. Win this year. Don't throw in the towel like this year is done. It's not. And even this calendar doesn't mean anything. For me, my new year starts on my birthday, which is next month. However, the next day, a new day is a new start. So allow yourself to win within your own constraints, within your own stadium. You have the power to win. So win. Win. See yourself winning. Feel what it feels like to win. See yourself sliding on the soccer pitch like, yeah, like that. See it, embody it, and quit saying, nah, I could never do that. That's whack. That loser's mentality is done. It is done. And there are wins, but you got to see it to believe it. You got to feel it. You got to visualize it. You got to imagine it before it comes. And as I say with all of my lives, be the reflection of love, because you come from an infinite source of love. Show up, because all it takes is you showing up. All it took was for me to show up. All it takes for you to, all it takes is for you to show up. And when you show up, you know, I say, make it look good. You know, take off the sweats and the holy shirts and the pajamas. We doing it sexy, okay? We doing it sexy up in here, okay? Show up, be the reflection of love, make it look good, and clarify your win. I'm past clarifying the why. Clarify the win. Feel the win. Feel the people in the stadium cheering you on. Feel the trophy. Feel whatever the win looks like. Feel it now. Because that's the beginning of your win. That's the name of the speech. I think this is the next TED, because there's another. Well, I'll speak on that later. So, I am hope. Exactly. Feel the win, G. And thank you for all your comments. You've inspired yourself. You've inspired yourself. Yes, Raphael, let's just keep the eyes. Let's just keep the eyes. I don't announce anything until it's done. As I said, with the TED, it should be up sometime this week. My TED Talk will be on the TEDx YouTube page. From what I've been told, TED has several quality controls. So even though the university I spoke at submitted it, TED has all of their quality controls before they post it. They even sent us, we had to do different edits of the talks itself. I was probably the easiest one to edit because I said, it's fine. I just put it up. I don't care about the close-ups and the light. Just post it. So I will make a post once it's posted. However, you'll see me on here Monday through Friday, speaking, giving the uplifting talk, minimum 90 minutes. I often go over. Aside from me not having the voice to talk, when I came back from Germany, I will be on here talking, and that's why it's named Hope is Speaking. If you miss any of my lives, all of my lives are posted to my YouTube of the same name, Hope is Speaking, under TikTok Lives. And you will be seeing some other things happening, and I'm excited. So, as I said, be the reflection of love because you come from an infinite source of love. Show up. That's all it takes. Make it look good when you show up, and be that win. Clarify your win. That's all it takes. And if anyone comes and says, no, you can't win, just mush them in the face and say, you're not a part of my win. So goodbye. That is it. I will see you tomorrow.